Hey everybody, this is Charlie Musselwhite, and you're listening to Athena After Dark. I ain't lying. Thank you, baby.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Athena After Dark. It's Monday. Oh my goodness. We all know what a great techie I am, so it's always a challenge. That's why we have 5 good things every day. And boy, howdy, did I need mine today. I hope you guys had a great week, and I thank you so much for being here. All right, we have a fantastic guest tonight. I'm excited to have him here. He's a fabricator and a builder. For those of you that saw the announcement, Florida. So, us Florida kids, we stick together, but very interesting. And I know you guys are going to enjoy it. So we're going to go ahead and get through all the good stuff to start out today. The great Charlie Musselwhite gave us our intro, which you guys know I love him so very much. He's absolutely fabulous. Okay, so we're going to start out with some upcoming events. We are excited because we have a lot of good things going. Biketoberfest is upon us, so that's exciting. Before that, we have, let's just see, Street Vibrations. So this is one I'm going to get to eventually. Reno, I want to go there. I like Nevada, and I'd like to go to an event that's there. So if you guys are in the area, make sure it's coming up this weekend. So, all right. And then, Biketoberfest 17th through the 20th. And we are ready to go for that. Of course, the reason that we all go, for most of us Chopper kids, it's for Willie's Tropical Tattoo Chopper Time with Roadside Marty. There's not a greater show on earth, I don't believe, personally. And then, so there's a schedule over here. I'm going to post it on the website. This is for, I'm going to do my best not to laugh. This is for Trike Week and Bike Week, because I didn't realize there was a Trike Week prior to Bike Week. So Biketoberfest, Triketoberfest. So they kind of correlate. There's a whole schedule at Saints and Sinners. They have a lot of bands. That's out at Destination Daytona, Teddy Morse's place. Fabulous, fabulous venue. And then on Friday, October 18th, they have the bike show on the boardwalk. There are some other really good shows in between. We're going to go ahead and post them on the website as well. And then, of course, Saturday, Sons of Speed. It's a fabulous event. And if you haven't been, you definitely need to go. And maybe I'll see you out there. That's going to be at the New Smyrna Speedway. And you can get the tickets at billylane.net. So definitely we'll see you out there. And then after that, the Twin Visionary has a Smoky Mountain Tour. This one's in Maryville, Tennessee, October 4th through 8th. Oh, sorry. Dates are wrong. It's probably the 5th through 8th. I stole the wrong flyer. Yeah, well, I'll tell you what. Anyways, vtwinvisionary.com. Sorry, Jeff. Oh. And then the High Seas Rally, that's coming up too. There's the web address so you get the right date for this wonderful woman who, I don't know how I managed to fudge that up, but okay. Let's see, I get back to my screen. I'm doing okay today pushing buttons. Let me just tell you, it's been one hell of a day. It's been a real Monday. And usually I'm a one-legged woman in an ass-whooping contest. Today I'm like a no-legged, one-armed woman in an ass-whooping contest. Because if it's going to get to me, if it was trying to test me, today was the day. And I won. I didn't let it. I still have a smile on my face. I had to tell myself my 5 good things today. I'm going to share them with you guys. So just so you know, my first one is the fact that I'm consciously aware that it's my choice. It's 20% what happens to you and 80% of how you react to it. So that's the most important thing on my 5 good things today. Of course, you guys being here and our fabulous guest, and then my wonderful kids and grandson and family, Dawn, and then my motorcycle life. So I have 5 good things I'm always grateful for. Okay, so I want to give a shout out. Let's see if I can push these buttons correctly. I'm doing my best. I'm not in the studio tonight. I'm at the house studio. It's my Harley Davidson art backdrop. Okay, so I'm going to click on this. I think it's going to happen. All right, so we love you, Miss Boots. Wishing you a speedy recovery. Check out that leg. Man, can I just tell you, this woman is such a badass. So I love her and Rubel so very much. She's a very, very, very close friend of mine. It's fabulous. This woman's on world tour on her motorcycle going across the country. she goes to back up her motorcycle. I think this is the correct story. And she twists her foot and breaks her leg. They had things scheduled. She didn't miss the next day's hot air balloon ride. Like, went after it. And she's recuperating. So next week she gets a boot, which we're very happy for. So Miss Boots will have a boot, and she should be able to get up and moving a lot better. So we love you. We're sending you lots of love and kisses, and hoping for a really speedy recovery. Okay, Eddie, I see you. Dennis, thank you for watching. I'm glad you guys are out there. I'm going to do my best to look at the comments while we're doing this. Again, it's been a Monday. Oh, okay. Yeah, just a couple things tonight because we have a really good guest, and I don't want to waste any time. You guys know I love it's all about the guest. I do this because I love sharing our incredible guests with you, and I'm honored that they actually show up. And hey, Kip, I see you. Nice to see you. Okay, we have Ask Athena tonight. So, dear Athena, your show is really great. Thank you. Would you consider interviewing just a regular rider person on your show or just famous motorcycle people? I just wonder because my friend is a school teacher who gives the kids rides on the baseball field on Saturdays, and I thought she would be a great guest. She rides every day to work and goes all over God's creation for food and fun, as she puts it. Looking forward to your response. Thank you, Melvin B. All right, Melvin, here's the deal. Anybody who rides and does great things in their community, in the community at large, the motorcycling community, especially our service workers, our teachers, our firefighters, our police, our service members, our military members, Coast Guard, and our railroad workers. Pretty sure I left some out there, but our service workers, that's first and foremost. So, but I love people. So I love to have everybody. I have a spot on the website where you can go ahead and just send me her information. And I would love to reach out to her and have her on the show. I love that because that's all about our future, the children and what they put into it. Hi, Mary. I see you. Miss Boots in the back bike. Whoa. Inroads the bike back down the road to then the nearest bar. Oh, she's so funny. Yeah. Miss Boots. She's a badass. Miss Mary, I see you here. The 29th. Okay. Very cool car and bike show. So Miss Mary's going to send me a flyer. I'll put it on the webpage of a very cool car and bike show. Please, Miss Mary, send that to me. I love it. You guys are starting to send stuff. That's fabulous. It only took 76 episodes for some to send pictures and start sending me your flyers. I love you all. Makes me feel so special. All right. And I know some of you don't stay up late. For those of you watching during the week on YouTube after, happy birthday, Bob Cunningham. I see you too. We're glad that you watched during the week. So, all right. Fabulous. So, yes, everybody's a rock star in my book. If you do something good and you're a good person and you just like to be a good human being and you ride motorcycles or you race or you do something crazy, incredible, a musician, I'm not picky. I want to share everybody that's good with the world. So that's why I do this. I enjoy people. So, and I know a lot of my friends who watch my show, they are my audience. I love you all dearly. They like cool people too. That's just what this is all about. That's what motorcycles are about. Okay, so I'm going to show you the intro that I didn't push the button. I'm sure you guys saw all in the announcement, but it was supposed to be the first picture up. I'm a loner. I've been doing this for a while by myself, and I forget a button here and there. So it's a chick thing. Okay, there was our intro. Brian Butera of Butera's Metalworks. Like, so you guys kind of knew, if you didn't see the announcement, you knew who we were having tonight because he's super cool. And you have to check out his work. He's an awesome fabricator, and he has some really cool stuff. I stole some pictures from his Facebook. He sent me some, but we wanted to get some of the good ones, so we'll surprise him. Okay, and everybody knows, or if you don't know, I am now officially the director of the North American division for EMC Shocks. Okay, so we have some really, really industry-changing technology. And yes, Dennis, I missed you guys at the smokeout too. I'm always a skeptic about products, and I really like to choose products that I like, that I can get behind. I've been a hardtail girl, a rigid frame girl for my whole entire life up until about 6 years ago when I got my FLH, my shovel head. So, and yes, I always knew one day my kidneys would be in my throat from riding hundreds of thousands of miles on a rigid frame. So I pulled my big biker girl panties up and I bought a cool FLH and redid her. Everybody's seen the pictures of Rosie, who now needs a charging system in third gear. It's okay. It's all good. 46 years. She did good. Yeah. So sometimes you can debate the difference in a lot of things. So I've learned a lot about product review. We have La Pair seats upcoming, Clockworks windshields upcoming, EMC shocks upcoming. We're going to do also an exhaust on my son's, the big road glide that he has. So that's going to be good. But I didn't realize how much of a difference these shocks made. And I'm a skeptic. So I'm excited. I'm going to be hitting people up. The website will be up soon, emcshocks.com. I'll show you some cool pictures. Okay. That's what they look like on my Super Glide. They're gorgeous. Oh my goodness. And do they perform? I didn't realize that it's kind of weird because for me, I fine tune a lot of stuff. I fine tune my carburetor. Everything is in alignment or, tweaking it to 0. Even when you balance the flywheels, you want 0. Yeah, and I had no idea. These shocks are incredible. So stay tuned. It's Monday, so I'm looking for that pep and vigor. But I had 5 good things today, and we have a great guest. Okay, so let's get on with it. Always our friends. Okay, so shout out to Viking Bags, Cycle Source Magazine, Paco, S&S, Chicago Motorcycle Supply, Willie's Tropical Tattoo, Chopper Time Show. Oh, we're counting down the weeks. Okay, Baker Drivetrain, Farm Life Creamery. Oh my God, if you guys haven't had Farm Life Creamery cheese curds, Miss Laura, you haven't lived yet. Palm Beach Harley Davidson, Open Road Radio, Miss Gina Wood, she's on an hour before us. Go to openroadradio.com. Milwaukee Mike, my high school sweetheart. I see you. I am very well now, sir, that I see you on the screen. That's fabulous. It's always nice that, you can stay in touch with people that you've known for so long and loved in your heart for so long. I love you, sweetie. You know that. Paco, okay. Biker Lives Matter. Bikernet.com. Bandit. That's where you want to get news. Twisted Tea. Okay, well, we know Billy and his yellow motorcycles and the puppy dog. Teddy Morse, Harley Davidson. We have Tobacco Road, Harley Davidson. Biker Bells. Ladies, make sure you make the rides every time. And then Miss Maggie South Country Inn, the best bed and breakfast in Daytona. It's like not far from the Chart House. I know. I like the Chart House. The Chart House, a fancy place. At least once every Biketoberfest and Bike Week, I like to go to the Chart House. I order shrimp cocktail, and it's a whole meal. It's like you're in a fancy restaurant. It's really good, but they have really nice ambiance. And I like the way the lady always kind of looks sideways at me when I walk in my Harley stuff, and it's pretty funny. I get a kick out of it. Okay, you guys ready? Because I'm ready. This is the best part for me. All right, so. He sent me some pictures. Again, it's been a Monday. No excuses, but my phone has been on the fritz. My computer's on the fritz. It took us the extra 5 minutes just to figure out how to sign everything in. It's just a one-woman show, so we're getting there, though. I love it. Tony, I see you. Happy birthday. Tony Augusta had a birthday. His lovely wife, Jen. I love it. I'm so lucky. I just have so many people. I can't wait to get him on the show one of these days. I know he's going to appease me. I know he will just be much obliged. Putting you on the spot there, big guy. All right. So I stole some pictures. So I'm going to go ahead. We're going to do the run through. Okay. Here we go. You ready? Okay. I even have notes. Ha 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 ha. Okay. So out on the road in the beginning, I love Brian's motorcycles for a lot of reasons. And I'm a fan of a girder front end. I've loved Donnie Smith's girder front ends my whole life. Just ask Donnie Smith. He'll tell you I'm like his stalker. This was like, speaking of stalkers, somebody taking it from the car, which is always a cool shot. I love those photos. So whoever the stalker was that took that was a great picture. Love the ape hangers. Okay. Now, this is his sidekick, Rocky. I believe he's just past a year old. And that was his puppy picture. And then look at him. And he's safely strapped into the vehicle, got his harness on, all that good stuff. I love that. That's so cool. Good looking dog. And, you know, chicks love pups. That's just how it is. Motorcycles and critters. Okay, this photo. So this photo was on the cover, I believe, of Iron Horse magazine. I have it in here. But this shovel head with the skirter front end, it is absolutely phenomenal. It speaks volumes to where we all come from. It's fabulous. Okay. I'm clicking through my little buttons. There's the other side. Oh, that's hot. I don't care. Look at that exhaust. I mean, come on now. Like, you have to follow his work. I build motorcycles. I follow his work. So this, if I understand correctly, was when he was like, 10 or 12 years old, creating a ruckus in the front yard. So, again, I swiped some of these photos. Okay. Younger days. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yep, we all have those. I try to get them every chance I can. So these are some very, very close people in our industry and our family. There's Russell, and I don't know if that's Jason. I don't have my glasses on. And on the other side, I see Xavier's big smile over there. We'll get him to tell us who they are in the photos. We'll go back to it maybe if I can push the buttons. So now this huge smile is, from what I understand, after a tattoo session. And like, you don't smile like that just when you go to your local tattoo parlor. Like, these guys are apparently very, 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 very good friends. And you could tell it was the day of the tattoo because of the tape on his arm. Big smile, though. I like that. That was a favorite photo. If I was going to steal some, I might as well take the good ones. There's the cover. And then this picture over on the, I guess if you're looking at it the right, not the photo of the cover, that's a Michael Lichter picture. It is always a great honor to have Michael Lichter take your photo, and he always does such a good, like, that's a fabulous candid shot there, or candid, okay. That's a good shot. Mondo. I love Mondo. Another one. He's just Denver's Chopper's fabulous. It's so cool that we get to actually be in the industry and work with our heroes. This is a great group shot. Willie's Chopper Time. What time is it? It's Chopper Time. There's Roadside over there. Look at him. What a great group shot. Like, so, if you're going to be a thief with pictures, take the good ones. I'm going to post some of the pictures he sent. So now this picture really, really struck me because this is about the time that he decided he was going a different direction in his life and chose to use his talents and just show us all what he likes to do, because his motorcycles are gorgeous. So we'll talk about that photo too. And then look at that nice black and white shot. And this other photo over here is one that he has that is a project that I think everybody's trying to encourage him to do. I like to see him riding that in Sturgis next year. That's a badass motorcycle. That's awesome. All right, there it is, Buter's Metalworks. Okay, he's in Lakeland. So Facebook, there's the addresses for Facebook for him personally and for his motorcycles. And then also the Instagram. Boy, I'm learning about that. But let's bring him in because that's the cool part. All right. Gonna push the buttons here. I got this. Oh. All right. Ready, set. Hey, there you are.
Hey, can you hear me?
I can hear you. That worked. Awesome.
Awesome. Yeah, we had a little trouble getting it figured out, but I'm glad we got it.
Yeah.
Good to see you. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate you.
Oh, it's so awesome. You've had a fabulous summer, and I just wanted to share it with everybody so they can follow your work, because your bikes are fabulous. They're just fabulous. And I hope that you'll get that other one finished and we can ride in Sturgis, because that's a badass motorcycle. It's really cool.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, I own that one, and it hasn't gotten attention for years. So
That's
I got a lot of ideas. I just haven't had the time.
Yeah, that's how our projects always go because we're always busy doing stuff for everybody else, which is fine.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. It's absolutely a good thing. Got to stay busy. So let's talk about for a minute your shop. So you do fabrication. You're also a builder, but you have some eclectic things that you have been in on. Like you've built some wild stuff I've seen on your webpage, like even furniture.
Yeah, I'm pretty diverse in what I do. I got to step. I'm actually at the shop tonight, so I had a feeling Rocky would get excited, so I got to step out
Cool.
here. But yeah, I do home decor stuff. I've done everything's pretty much one off, custom, and given a direction to do things. And I'm grateful that I have customers that give me that artistic freedom with the projects and allow to show
Yeah.
that
I
as you build something or you do something for somebody and they don't necessarily know what the final thing is going to be. They just give you direction, and that
right.
reaction when they get it is everything. So
Yeah, it's priceless. It literally is priceless. I'd have to agree with that. So let's see here if I can do this right. Okay, so you've had a crazy summer, but like tell us a little bit about how all that was because you were busy.
this yeah, leading it. So I had two builds going. That the plan was to debut them in Sturgis.
Mm-hmm.
I was invited to the what used to be Michael Lichter's Motorcycles as Art.
Yes.
And Kevin Dunworth and Savannah Rose run it now, and with help from the Chip guys. And it was, I went there. We got it, leading up to it. As anybody that builds bikes knows, like no matter how much you plan ahead and what you do and how good a shape you're in, you're always down to the wire on a deadline. Like it's just seems inevitable. So
Always.
it's just there's no way around it. So things happen, and things out of your control, and just
Mm-hmm.
there's all those things. There's a lot involved in a full custom build.
Yes.
So and they were important to get done for Sturgis. They were both the same customer and dedicated, one to his wife and the other his son. And they were unveiled in Sturgis, so it was really important to me. And I'm a one-man show, so
Right.
Amongst keeping the lights on and pushing work in and out and keeping everything going to push, it was a lot of
It's a labor of love. It really
yeah,
is.
yeah. I always say anybody that does this, it's passion driven. It's
Oh
not.
yeah.
It's I mean, it's nothing else. So it's
Yeah.
but again, it was we got them done, and to see them out there, and I was lucky enough to be out there with them the whole time at the show, and so yeah, my summer was nothing but work and a few naps in between. It seemed like.
Yeah, and everybody says, "Oh, have a good time at Sturgis," and you're just like, "Shit, I wish." Like I'm all over the place. I got to bring bikes. I got to do this. I got to do that. Yeah, so I get it. And then we have a standing joke. We always say, if you want to make a small fortune in motorcycles, you start out with a big one, because it's passion driven. Yeah, that's just how it is. Well,
and
I'm so
I'm
honored
grateful
that
for
you're here.
customers. I got some great customers that it's proven if I do a full build with you, there's a real friendship built over that, that time and what we do. So,
Oh, most definitely.
and if it wasn't for that and those, and the customers I have and the word of mouth and what keeps us going, so I'm grateful for that.
Yeah, and that's what matters too. Like that people don't understand that it's not just. I tell a lot of times I'll say that to folks. I say, I'm not looking to make the sale. I'm looking to make the customer, because we end up being, they come back to you repeatedly. They like your style. That's what you do. And I mean, like yourself, you have a following. Bill Dodge has a following. I have a following. There's builders all over that have a following. Corey Net, that everybody likes what they do. And the goal is to at some point get to a spot where we can build what we love, but we know we can't keep them all. So we just, customers come and buy them from us instead of having to build for each individual. I know you must crave that sometimes too.
Yeah. my first build ever was a pretty important one to me, and got in a spot in life. I had to sell it, and
Mm-hmm.
that was my first experience with that. If they have to go, they got to go. If you're going to do this
Oh yeah.
money, like you gotta sell them, and then if you're
Yeah,
lucky
and we
enough to get customers and then build, for customer builds, it kind of evolves into the business. But yeah, and it's always a funny story with that because a lot of times, you have to sell things. It's not because you want to, it's because you have to.
yes.
And you usually don't get what you want for them when you're in that situation. You
Yes.
take what'll get you out of the situation you're in, and so that's where I was at, and it was sold and actually rebought. And I was real upset about it, and ultimately, long story short, of who owns the bike now is one of the best customers I have, and we've done multiple projects on Jeeps, and have a couple of those
That's
guys
cool.
that, like I said, some of these customers, it's like family. This is my
Yeah.
whole life. I said it's 10:30. I'm out here. This is what I do. It's me and Rocky and
That's
metal and
yeah.
motorcycles.
And people say that all the time. They're like, "What are you doing? It's 10:30." I'm like, "I'm cooking dinner." They're like, "What?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm cooking dinner. I just got home from the shop." So like, and I've added more to my plate, which I have a habit of doing that. But I like doing this because this is for me. It's fun. I get to share everybody like yourself. You know what I mean? Because you are a master craftsman. Like, there's not a lot of people you can say that about anymore that actually have they don't purchase this or purchase that. Like, you make things like that matters. I've made things. I understand what that's all about. So that is so cool. And Rocky, what a cool sidekick. I kind of watched your journey through Sturgis, and I just thought, like, it was so neat. And then to see, from when he was a puppy to now. I lost my dog I have a little one left. She's like 18, but my big black dog, she was like a bull boxer, kind of looked like a black lab. 17 years she made it, and I miss her. And I always tell myself, okay, I'm going to rescue a dog. I'm going to rescue a dog. I'm going to rescue. But so far, I've been good. I just keep putting the girl card away, going, nope, got to work.
Well, I can tell you, when I got him, he was 7 weeks old, and I had
I know.
the night I got him, I woke up that morning with no idea or intention of getting a dog, and he hasn't left my side since. So,
Yeah, and they
outside
find
of it, literally, I think the only time we've been apart for the course of a night is, I was in the hospital, and I had a heart attack in March, and
right.
that was, I think, the only time him and I were been away. He went, like I said, he went to Sturgis with me. He did the whole deal and did great. And yeah, he's definitely my sidekick.
That's
Great dog.
awesome. And you're doing much better, right?
Yeah, I feel good. It's been 6 months, and I feel good. Yeah, doing all the
Yeah,
things I'm supposed to for the most part.
yeah. Well, you got something to do here, so it's just a little reminder that you got to stay focused on your purpose here on this planet. I guess that's kind of how that is.
It'll
So
it'll definitely hit you. I mean, it was a big one, So, and it definitely will give you a different perspective. I should have had that already, given the path I've chosen in my life.
yeah.
But and I kind of had it figured out when this happened. But it was a reminder that it's short, man, and what you got to appreciate, and
Mhm.
and I think even more so what you can't let bother you. Sometimes you just gotta step outside of things and look up at the sky and be like, man, it's not getting that
Oh,
bent out of shape about, it's just
yeah,
so,
because that's what I tell everybody all the time. Because it's 20% what happens to you, 80% your reaction. But I've learned that it's my choice on how I react to it. So I have control over that. You know what I mean? So for me, I had a friend who he said something and he's like, "You always do that." And I'm like, "What?" He's like, "You're always happy." And I'm like, "Well, I just tell myself that no matter what, I'm just going to be happy." And some days, you're just like, whatever. And you got to change it around. But he said to me, he's like, "So one day I was just tired of it and I tried it." He goes, "And that shit worked." And I think that pissed him off.
Now, I have a
So
lot of respect for that. That's
yeah.
being able to do that is do all the stuff and stresses in our life that's not easy. So
Yeah. Well, it'll
respect to you
eat
for
you
that.
alive. Thank you. And that's something you learn though over time. You go
Sure,
through a lot of shit,
yeah,
So the more shit you pile on, right?
we're very relatable in that. I'm sure we could have a whole separate conversation on trials and tribulations.
Totally. Absolutely. So what do you got coming up?
Several things. So this weekend actually is Kentucky Moto Fest.
Oh, with the shade tree. Oh my goodness.
So yeah,
That's
so my
Dozer.
yeah, Dozer's gonna be up there. Who else? Bill, I think's gonna be there. Dan Starkey. I don't know if you know, he's a great builder.
Oh yeah.
Jeremy Valentine. So a few guys. So, but
Jeremy's good,
I
yeah.
don't know who all is involved in it, but I know my buddy Casey Elkins and Zane Cook are behind putting it on, or big
Oh
involvement in
nice.
it. So yeah, I'm scheduled to be up there. There's some logistics issues and getting everything I need to. So I'm in the midst of that, but that's another story. But that's a great event coming up this weekend that I think everybody should, if you're anywhere near it. It's like on 1,200 acres and trail riding and concerts and music and
All
just a
right.
really good time. It kind of seems like a TMMR kind of feel.
I'm excited. I just saw something about that today and I was like, oh my goodness, this is Miss Brandy. I love Dozer and his beautiful wife. That woman she's my hero. She will do a weenie bike contest on a jockey shift, suicide shift, panhead by herself with driving it. Oh my gosh.
She's real deal. I've had the pleasure of doing a lot of events with them and judged Motoblot up in Chicago for a couple of years.
Oh,
and he was a
nice.
Contestant in that. And
they're just good people.
Yeah.
Such
And every time they're just, she's like you, she just has that positive energy and enjoys life in the moment. And
yep.
you can see how much he appreciates that in her. And it's just a great thing. Makes them, they're an awesome couple. So
they are.
I like Dozer's work. I think his stuff he does, he's got a great eye and does some cool stuff. So.
And really, really, again, genuinely salt of the earth. I was thinking about that because I've been waiting to ask them to be on the show, and I wanted to wait and get them to be my Valentine's couple because I always do my best to have a couple on Valentine's week. So
well, they're a good one for that.
Perfect. Oh yeah, that's absolutely. We did mailman and Miss Cheryl, mailman and mailbox. I don't know if you know mailman Kevin O'Brien. I'm sure you do.
I do not well. I hopefully can meet him more, but I think met several times. But yeah, of course I'm aware of them.
They're just fabulous human beings. So that is so cool. All right. Well, that's good. You have to send pictures. I'll put them up and let me know. And then after that, are you doing?
So then, well, it's kind of an ongoing thing. I got selected for a build that we kind of had going and we're changing directions on. So for the Builtwell's People's Choice.
Builtwell, yes.
People's Champ, I'm sorry. So that goes on and basically is a competition. 12 of us got selected. It'll go down to 6. And it's all online judging.
Okay.
Or online voting, I should say. So it gets down to 6. The final 6 will go out to Born Free. The winner will get announced, win some cash, and then they get they all get a spot at Born Free, but then the winner gets the last spot of the invited builders. So he has the potential to win the Moon Eyes Award or Best of Show to go to Yokohama to Moon Eyes, Japan. So
that is so cool. That is fabulous. Make sure you tag me in the link when it's time to vote. So
well, I think the first round of voting to get down to the final 6, the voting is between December 6th and 9th, if I'm not mistaken. But I'll post everything and share it. And anybody wants to follow along, I'll be doing a lot more of the process stuff and showing some fab work and kind of cool. We document through the course of the whole competition. So
that's cool.
So and I look forward to doing that. I'm working with somebody here that's going to help with the video stuff. And you know as well as anybody by now, I'm not tech savvy at all. So
I'm learning. I can get this far. I get a hiccup. Everybody's used to me being late because they always know there's some technical. Once I forgot to push the button to bring somebody in and I couldn't figure, and it was right there. But that's all part of it. It is what it is. I wish you the best of luck with that, and we'll definitely follow along because that's it's an honor, to be placed in that category. When you get the opportunity to do shows like that and their invitationals, that it just speaks volumes because your work is incredible. I mean, it really is. Like I said, not a lot of craftsmen left in the world. So
no, and in our small little culture of motorcycles, even the smaller subculture like choppers and the vintage stuff we do, for how small it is, there are some unbelievable craftsmen
yes,
out there, that have found their way into doing bikes and what we all love. But there's some around the country, and I've been lucky enough to even meet around the world that they're very, very, very talented.
yes, and I've met some incredibly talented individuals from Japan, some like world show winners and stuff like that, who I stay in contact with, and I'm lucky for that. But you definitely consider yourself among those because, yeah, what you do is fabulous. So, how do you feel about some questions?
Let's do it.
All right, everybody gets the same ones, but everybody gives different answers. So, as much as people try to tell me that's faux pas shit, I tell them, forget it. We're bikers. It's different. So, all right. This one, I don't even know I'd ask you that, but maybe there might be a feline around. So is it dogs or cats or just dogs?
Yeah, definitely dogs.
Yeah. And what a dog he is, definitely.
Yeah, he's getting to be a big boy.
Did he enjoy Sturgis? I'm sure everybody enjoyed him in Sturgis.
Oh yeah, he loved it. He loves the attention, and he did
Yeah.
great. And even in the crowds, I had a pretty wild ride leading up to, like we talked, to Sturgis. And my ride there, I had multiple blowouts. It was just me and him the whole way. Like it was it wore me the fuck out, So I was, by the time I just kind of chilled out. So
yeah.
But he was awesome, and I always kind of, every time I talk about it, a shout out to the Buffalo Chip and Woody and everybody there, because they were so hospitable with them, and I couldn't have asked for more. They were really great and allowed me to travel with him, and which was important to me. So
yeah, they're super incredible people too. I love Woody. Woody is, and his daughter Tony and the rest of the family and the crew there, like you said, they're just so incredible. It's fabulous. Aren't we lucky to know so many wonderful people and have them in our lives?
Yeah, and every time, I had been out of the scene a little bit, with just life and working on projects and things, and to come back, and there's always new people at times, and I met Jeff with the Chip, and he was kind of heading up where our show was and stuff, and I mean, just great people, just great people, and I was really grateful for it. Really made the trip nice.
Yeah, those are our blessings because, boy, they say, sometimes you have to go through hell to get there. I understand that. Tires, but yeah, Marilyn says I'm the queen of controversy because I'll have a blowout in the middle of nowhere and have to rescue myself or call somebody or but that's part of the adventure too. You're just like, okay, well,
I tried to tell myself that on the side on the side of 29 in the middle of nowhere when the rain started and there was no tire, I'm like, I tried to give the whole it's the experience be part of the journey. And I got through it, and then the next morning I thought I'm in good shape. I'm home free. It's just a drive in 6 hours. I'll be in Sturgis, like it's all over. 100 miles into the trip, another blowout.
Right,
so, middle of nowhere. But I said, F it, and I just went up the road a little bit. And if you're ever, I think it's exit 296 on 90 heading into Sturgis, Hillman's Automotive.
Oh,
the kid's awesome. I mean, you ever need
shout out
issues?
Yeah.
See that kid, man, because he, 5 years prior, I ran out of diesel and damn near got in fist fights at the gas station because they tried to rip me off. But now he's a great kid, 38 years old, and it's his own shop. He'd never been out of South Dakota, and he had me in and out of there in 45 minutes, and that's because I just enjoyed talking to him for probably 15.
That's awesome. That's fabulous. Hillman's.
Yeah, I always post it, and I'll post it every Sturgis. So.
Okay, perfect.
And truly a good human being.
Yeah, the ground is so hot that the tires pop. They just
well,
they do.
I had just had brand new tires put on, and it was, I mean, a reputable place over in Brandon, and but it was one of those you got to get them today. You got to go see
Yeah.
Tony like today. Like today's
Yeah.
the last day.
Right.
So I got a deal on them, but paid full price because they broke all the stems and they screwed them all up, so they all end up on the road. A couple of them had I don't know, long story, but anyway.
That's okay. I get it. So do a lot of people like Barry and so many people. You can't make this shit up. It just really is real. And
now, when the third one went on the way back, I swore somebody was following me with cameras or something.
like punked, right? Like
and I didn't even have a trailer. I was so grateful that we had worked everything out where, all the bikes were taken separately, transported with some other, another builder's bikes, and Brian Fuller out of up in North Georgia. So they all went together. So I was lucky enough to just, for the first time with this whole bike thing, just the truck, like should be smooth sailing. I pulled trailers, I put all the stuff, like never any problem really. I was always lucky enough. Somehow I always avoided any issues outside of running out diesel. Like no problem. Just the truck, every fucking tire blows.
Yep. Always an adventure. Always an adventure.
Yeah.
It's just an adventure. What is it? It's a test, and you're doing your best to pass with the best grade possible. Try not to. Yeah, I know. I tell myself that shit too. All right. So, apples or oranges?
Oranges.
Oranges. That the Florida thing?
Yeah. So I lived here. I pretty much grew up in Las Vegas throughout like the formidable years, junior high and high school and all that out west. But in elementary school, I lived here, and back then Lakeland was all orange groves, and I lived on the outskirts back then, and we were surrounded by orange groves. So when we went out playing, all day long, you were pulling fresh oranges and tangerines and grapefruit off the trees.
There's nothing.
Can't do that around here anymore. That's all buildings, but
right. There's nothing like that smell too when you're riding the motorcycle and you smell the orange blossoms. It is one of the most decadent smells you'll ever have. That's for sure.
It is. Yeah. So yeah, definitely oranges.
Hotel or camping?
We were joking a little bit ago. I said camping, but I need a camper.
Okay.
I'm not a my days of sleeping on the floor and the ground. I try to do at least as possible. So I mean, I'm not a big tent guy, but I like the outdoors. I like all the stuff. I like walking out in the morning, cooking out, and doing all that stuff, breakfast and shit. So I guess camping, but I need a little bit of luxury with it.
Yeah. So nowadays they call that glamping. So apparently it's like
I mean, we've done it all. I've slept in the trailer, the bike trailer, and like it's stayed at nice hotels. We kind of have done the full spectrum. So
all of it, right? Yes. Oh, I agree. Okay, slow or fast?
Situational. It totally depends on what we got going. It's
okay. I like that.
Some things are better slow. Some things are better fast.
I'll go with that. That's a good answer for sure. Breaking or making?
Making.
Yeah.
But you gotta sometimes break shit to learn how to make shit. So
that is true. That is very true. But I get the making part. I see with what you do. Like you have some pictures of a frame around the battery area where it was all rotted away, and then you see that same thing where you corrected that, and I was just like, "What the hell?" All right, I like because it just looked like you put it in a time machine and put it back. That's what it.
Yeah, and that a lot of people say like, well, for that particular bike, the Sportster, and obviously the shape it was in, which I checked it. The rest of the frame was fine. The other side had a little red, but for the most part, like that was right by, like you said, the battery. So obviously a problem there with the acidic, corrosion. But they ask why would you do so much work on on a bike like that? But as well as probably anybody watching this that bikes are important to people, and they have meaning behind them and where they came from. And this one was that case with the person, and it was important that bike stayed that bike. And
right.
I'm great. I'm thankful and grateful.
That was a fabulous job. I was like, all right, that's like watching Barry when he does his welding on his motor cases and stuff. Barry Wardlaw from Accurate Engineering.
Yeah, he's one of the if you asked me for a list of the top guys that I respect their craft and what they do and their knowledge and their ability, I mean, you're hard to pass up what Barry can do.
It's
A lot of
crazy. But
respect a lot of respect for Barry.
yeah, and seeing that the frame repair that you did and the restoration on it, same thing. Kudos, absolute kudos. All right.
And I do quite a bit of frame repairs. You know, I've gotten in I don't really post all the routine work probably like I should, but
Right.
you know, I take a lot of pride in that. I take a lot of pride in it looking like it never happened, and you know, proper
And go.
fabrication and good, clean, solid work, and done right where it's structurally sound too. So
Yeah, and that matters. Taking pride in what you do absolutely matters. I think if anything, that's one of the things that frustrates me about society as a whole nowadays. For in that regard, it's just that so many people just don't give a shit anymore. And it's like you have to, even if you're doing the freaking laundry, take pride in what you do. You're doing it. It's a task that you're, you know, uh, handling and moving on. So I don't know. I have a different perspective though than most people, I guess.
yeah, that's how it should be. You know, I mean, if
Yeah.
it's hard to be good at anything if you're not passionate about it or you don't really at least put your all into it. You know, and
Right.
if you're choosing to do it, why wouldn't you? But
Yes.
like I said, not
And
everybody's that way. You know, and there's a
I.
lot. It's easy to take the easy way out, and even you
Mhm.
know, there's a lot of factor in building bikes. Even you know, specific to what our topic is. You know, like you know, between finances and time and the you know all the custom handmade one-off stuff is time consuming. So you know, you put it up against finances, and then also just the time to do it and the patience of metalwork in itself, you know, fine finishing work to really take it to that next level. You know, I think that's where it separates a lot of people because I think sane people stop at a certain point, good enough,
Yes.
and then you know, then you got your whack jobs like me that you know just go insane with it, and it's just over the top, and it's just not normal. But and forget about making it profitable at that time, you know. But
Right.
that's
Which
but
for
that's the passion driven, and it all works out in the end. You know, I always joke about the money part. You know, you never, if you really, I think anybody does that builds bikes or is in motorcycles, you break down dollars and cents. It's like, geez.
oh yeah.
But you build those relationships and those customers and and it all just kind of works out. It seems to, you know,
Yeah.
with I've had plenty of ups and downs, and um, you know, you consistently do good work and just do what you say when you're going to do it, and usually you'll always be all right.
Yeah, and that's that thing too. It's being accountable for what you got going on and then expressing your art through what you got going on. But like you said, taking pride in what you do, that matters. And it's uh it's important. I'll never forget my first gas tank that I made. Oh my goodness. I cried like a baby. And Don came around the corner and he's like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Just go away." And I'm hammering. I went and bought a bigger hammer and sandbags and just all these things. And finally, a friend of mine said to me, he said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm making a gas tank." He's like, "What did you start with?" I said, "A gas tank." And he's like, "Well, why the hell would you do that?" And he sat there and he showed me how to form metal and weld pieces. And I was just like in awe. And he's like, "Okay, now your turn." And I was like, looked at him like, okay. And he put me on the spot and I did it. And I was so happy. I was, and then I got good with the hammer because I don't have a lot of big tools. I have this and the hammers and the sandbags and, that
Yeah, and
stuff. And
that's the beauty. I always say of fabrication. You can do so much with so little. You know,
yeah,
especially metal shaping. You know, I don't have near the equipment of some. I mean, I have all the basics. You know, English wheel
right.
and all the planishing hammer. But at the end of the day, like and with all the stuff, even welders, I get asked a lot what welders and what to get, and people starting out, and you don't need a lot to really make some amazing things. You know,
Right.
it's
Yes.
just getting out there and yeah, there's costs involved, but you'd be surprised at what you can get into for if you really want to do it. Like it's
That's
that big.
and the one name that comes to mind when I think about it is the honorary Sir Fabulous King of all of it, Mr. Ron Finch. Like I have been in the sidecar that he made a motorcycle in a sidecar out of scissors and knives, and things, implements of destruction, and he rode me around the convention center. But I also watched him dumpster dive for all of that stuff with my dad, so it was really cool. You know, I was like, "Huh? What?" He's like, "Oh, I'm gonna make a motorcycle out of that." I'm like, "Yeah." Next year, he's like, "Want to go for a ride?" And I'm like, "Oh shit, you did that!" So it's very cool. All right, so sunshine or moonshine?
I
Can you
can't
hear me
hear you.
there? Oh, how about now? Did I lose you? Hello? Did you push the mute button on me, sir? I lost you. Hold on.
And I don't know sign language. I can see you, but I can't hear you. You just cut out.
Okay. Check your phone. Hold on. Hold on. Let's see. Let's check the notes. We might have lost it. Okay, hang on, everybody. I got you. I love this. Spike, I see you guys. Sheila. Okay,
Make
let's see
sure
if
it
I
didn't
can
go
do
over to
this
a
here.
Bluetooth or something.
I have you there. I just don't know how I have
Oh,
you there.
I got you on. I got you here.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah. All right. I got
I
you.
can hear you.
I got you. Now
Fabulous.
we're back in action. I don't
Yeah.
know how they decided just on their own to do that.
I love it. It's always an adventure. That's how it
No,
goes.
all right. We didn't
All
lose
right.
too much time. We're good. All right.
Nope. Sunshine or moonshine? Rocky.
Yeah. Sunshine, but it can't be real hot. Then
Okay.
I'll take moonshine.
Okay. I like that. So, if you had to pick one, what would you say your favorite song would be?
Oof. It's tough because I'm a music guy. I love music.
Oh,
I always got it going, and so to get it down to one song, because I love it all. You're emotionally, you're all over the place, and different stuff or different. Probably,
good answer. I like that.
yeah. I'm my music playlist is pretty diverse, so it's hard to
What's
say.
What's today's favorite?
Today's was probably we were playing a little bit ago. House of the Rising Sun. Animals.
Okay. Yeah.
And I'm usually most of the time in the shop. It's usually 70s stuff. 60s, 70s.
Very cool. Very
So,
cool.
but
What is your
like,
favorite road food?
Sweeto burrito in Sturgis is tough to beat. But on the road,
Mm-hmm.
I'm notorious for like hammering down, and I don't stop. So like I eat out of truck stops. I'm a
Okay.
loves truck stop and fuel up, grab and go, shit.
I like Love's.
Whatever fast food they have attached to it on the side.
Yep. Yep. Usually Arby's or something good like
Yeah,
that, right? Yep,
yeah.
for
Something that
sure.
just has you stopping 60 miles down the road at the rest stop.
Same way. Yes, definitely. um, if you were a superhero, who would you be?
I was never into comics really or superheroes, but I know my favorite as a kid, and then what I know about him, the Hulk was always a big deal with me.
Oh,
So
yeah.
probably say him. Definitely
Okay.
two different personas, and his stress level affected him pretty bad. So I can relate.
I like it. I like that. That's a good answer. I absolutely like that one. If you were a cocktail, mixed drink, what would you be?
uh, nowadays I'm probably I don't know. I don't drink, so I don't know. But I'd say probably a Long Island iced tea overall
Okay.
on me because they taste good, they're sweet, they're a nice drink, and
They kick your
they're
ass.
enjoyable. But yeah, you get out of line with it, you don't respect it. It'll punch you square in the face before you know
Oh
it.
yeah. Yes, definitely. Oh, I remember those days. It's probably why I don't.
I think I had a Long Island phase there for a short while.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't
I think
remember much. I don't know why it works that way.
I
tells
was
you
gonna
something.
say I heard I did too. I'm not sure, but I heard that was the case. Cool. So, how did you get into motorcycles?
Um, I was always around them. I had a little 50 my dad brought home as a kid. And there's always kind of in our family an iconic picture of my dad when we were out in Arizona. I was really little. And he's
Okay.
standing in front of his bike and he's got a tank top on and he's holding his 357, revolver. And
Yeah.
he's, it was the whole tough guy stuff. And I always remembered that side. I was always kind of drawn to it. And, we may get into it in a little bit, but a lot of things, people don't realize is I first tried to do custom bikes well over 20 years ago.
Hmm.
You know, I just wasn't ready, not only maturity and as a person to try to do things, but skill set and as a fabricator and everything. I had the passion, I had the idea, but I just wasn't
Right.
ready yet. So, it's been a lot longer process than people realize, you know.
Right. I
And I've,
got
I've,
you.
I've went off to do other things and stuff, but I've always come back to fabrication.
Hmm.
And then, I was grateful to finally have the opportunity to build a bike, nights and weekends kind of thing. And it changed my life.
Yep. So, who would you say your childhood hero is?
Um, I never had one, I kind of, from a young age, my dad was never that way. He was always pretty much, like, he was screw everybody kind of thing, do your own thing.
Right.
But, I always kind of realized pretty early on, like the whole theory, you never want to meet your hero, don't meet your heroes. They're never what you think they are. And so I just tried to avoid that. And, I
Okay.
respected people and things, but I never really had heroes, I would say. Hope that
Okay.
doesn't sound bad, but
No. But the next question I'm going to ask you is, who's your motorcycle hero?
um,
Who do you look up
I,
to in
yeah,
motorcycling?
and
That's
again,
the
I don't know
better
if
way to.
heroes the word, but there's certainly plenty of guys that I looked up to and respect in motorcycles. Um, one of the pictures you shared, and you showed some pretty impactful pictures there. Uh,
Yeah. I
actually,
swiped
yeah,
them. I was like, oh,
yeah.
I like those.
But Mondo is somebody that I have a lot of respect for. Um, Not only what he's done in the industry, but just the person he is, and he's always
Yes.
been kind to me, and I'm
Yes.
grateful for that. Um,
Hmm.
he's always kind of understood me and reached out, and just he's a great person. So, and a circle of those guys, there's another builder, Stacy McCleary. I don't know if you know Stacy and
I
Danielle.
do. Yes, I do.
I mean,
In his
if you want to
cowboy
talk
hat.
about,
With
yeah,
his cowboy
I
hat.
mean, if you
Oh
want to
my.
talk salt of the earth people,
Yes.
you know, and so Bob K is another
Yeah.
one. In the industry, Bob's
Hmm.
always been. I have a lot of respect for Bob and his builders. A lot of the guys, the Orland Ness and the guys that started really the whole
Yes.
custom scene and cutting the stuff all apart, and
Yes. That's for sure.
the true
It-
originators of what allows us to do what we do. So.
yeah. Oh yeah. Arlen,
And
Ed
there's a
Kurd.
pretty good list, so yeah, pretty good list of certainly people that guys I respect in the industry, and even
That's
fellow
super cool.
fabricators. You can break down
Yeah.
there's some guys that I respect their work, and
Right, because
and
you see all sides to it too. Because as motorcycles, you also, as a fabricator, it branches out into so many different things. I mean, all the way to aerospace and things like that. So I'm sure the community is quite large in that regard.
yeah, yeah, and it is, and well, large and then small at the same time. It's
Yes.
especially the builder community with bikes. Again, it's a pretty small demographic, and the guys that are do quality work and repeatedly, putting out
Yeah.
stuff or, you know, um, we all kind of know who you are and who's winning shows and who's putting out killer stuff and quality craftsmanship and kind of stands the test of time.
Yes.
I'm pretty new to the scene, and, um, I didn't debut my first bike till 2018 Daytona,
Right.
I was 40 years old before any of this finally was able to come to fruition for me. So,
Yeah. And it's quite a journey. Listen, I'm 20 years in with the shop, and you know, I have my own challenge being, you know, a woman, and always priding myself on earning the respect of my colleagues, you know, and the journey, all the things you talk about, I understand. I completely have been there, done that. Like I said, can't make that shit up. And most people wouldn't believe it. They're like, you did what? You went where? Why'd you do that? How much did you make? Huh? You know? So yeah, I
Yeah,
totally get that. For
and there's
sure.
so many different angles to it. You know, like
Hmm.
still saying, you know, the best part of it's the people. What's the worst part of it? The
Yes.
people. You know, so it's
Yes.
um, you know, I had a pretty interesting journey coming into bikes. I built that bike and debuted it, and literally my world turned upside down. You know, it took me around the world. I won every major show at the time to speak of, for the most part, all
Including
around the
Rat's
country.
Hole.
Rat's Hole, and like I said, took me to the Middle East and Switzerland and
Yeah.
all these things. And as good as that was, at the same time, there's guys that didn't know my journey at all, but have been doing this a very, very long time,
Hmm.
and have grinded away in garages and basements and doing stuff just like I did those nights and weekends to do that, but for years and years and years, hoping and dreaming for that, and magazine covers and all the exposure I got. And I build one bike and I show up, and all that happens. Um,
Well,
and I didn't
it's
always get the best reception because of that, you know, and um, so, you know, that was kind of hard to navigate, but 98% of the people in the motorcycles, I mean, that the people were the best part of it.
Yeah. And you and I will talk about that sometime in the future for sure in our own little conversation. But I totally get that too. And I understand and know so much more than people would really, I guess, when you're new on the scene, you know what I mean? And the challenges that come along with that. But
Yeah.
when you what you put out into the universe is what comes back to you. You know what I mean? And when you build an awesome motorcycle like that, but also the people that can lift you up in the culture and the lifestyle and the world of motorcycling, they see that you're a good person and a good human being and good to be around and take pride in what you do and just a good human being. They will go out of their way to lift you up, which is such a pleasure. Like it's like having your picture taken by Michael Lichter, you know what I mean? And having a conversation with him in a friendly manner where you just, hey, Michael, how you doing? Like people dream of that stuff, you know, but it's because of the person that you are. And that has at least half to do with the talent that goes with it. So know that because,
Yeah. And I always say, you know, like when you do something and it's who you are, whether
yes,
how you treat people or the kind of work you do, or whatever makes you you,
right.
and certainly the attributes and all that, you're desensitized to it, and you don't realize that, and you take it for granted because that's just you in your daily life, and you don't
Yes.
realize sometimes you're different than everybody else, or how those things make you different.
Mhm.
um, and in turn it's hard, you know, I don't know, it gets to be a complicated topic, but um, I think yeah, at the end of the day, with business and everything, if it's just how you treat people, and there's, you're not going to please the world, you're never gonna,
Right.
but you know, and
It's,
it's I always say, you know, anybody that has actually spent time with me, and knows me as a person, you know, my business runs on repeat customers and word of mouth.
yes.
um, I don't have a service shop. I don't do, you know, I do one-off custom stuff. I do field work and some things, but not as much as I used to, and but that's what it runs on. So I'm that says everything I need it to, and I'm grateful for that,
That
and you
speaks
just keep
volumes
you.
for
It
sure.
does, and I'm proud of that.
So, what would you say your biggest challenge in motorcycling has been or is?
At the same time, probably trying to, you know, my business isn't all motorcycles, um, but certainly lately it primarily is, um, and oftentimes
Yay.
has been. You know, it all kind of ebbs and flows. You know, so it,
Yes.
um, and I'm grateful that, you know, I've had a lot of work motorcycle wise, and from frames to repairs to full builds, and you know, I've been busy. Um, and when it kind of lightens up, it seems to just like I said, it's a scary way to live, but it always seems to kind of work itself out at the last hour. So, um, but I think the toughest challenge is just trying to figure out how to manage all that. I'm, to sustain a business in this world on my own, in something that is really a pretty small demographic, and locally there's within a mile or two of me, there's 6 shops that do,
Right.
there's 6, 7 fab shops that do far more capability than I do, many of them.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I guess that's the challenge is just always hustling, always pushing, always doing whatever you can to keep it going.
Yeah, keep grinding. That's it for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely. Literally.
Yeah. The motivation can be
Eh.
a challenge, I guess, is the challenge, sometimes it's, but at the end of the day, you, you choose to do your own thing and you have the freedom and everybody says it, the old joke of working for yourself, you're quick to leave a 40-hour-a-week job to work 90 hours a week, and do
For
it happily,
yourself. Right.
So,
Exactly. That's
it's
it
like, I don't have
exactly.
to punch a clock anymore, but it's your life 24/7, you don't
Mhm.
sleep. It's on your mind. It's how you're going to manage it all. Like
Right.
but,
Oh yeah,
you
there's
know,
stress involved in all that.
but I wouldn't have it any other way. I'm super grateful for it, but that's probably the biggest challenge for me.
Gotcha. Now, what's your favorite motorcycle that you've built?
That's tough. I mean, I haven't built full builds, a lot of them, but my first one was obviously really important to me. It was my birth year motor, 77 shovel, and it was kind of my vision. Everything I wanted to do. It had that girder front end I had done, and my first all stainless. Obviously what we said, all the things it did for my life. So that one, but the second one, the panhead with number 2, the gold bike.
The
Um,
gold one. Picture that.
I think that is my favorite built motorcycle. Actual just bike for bike. There's a lot
I
put into that. But then a couple
love
of the new
that.
ones. I mean, I love them all. I put my heart into them, so it's hard to. It's like your
Right.
kids. Who's your favorite?
Yeah,
But
exactly. No, there isn't. Right. I tell them, none of you. I have my grandson now, so you're all out of the game. That's how that goes.
yeah, I just did the knucklehead and the panhead that went to Sturgis, and those.
They're gorgeous. Yes.
Yeah, that they came out really classy, and just
Afraid if I
the look those go. So
afraid
those
if
as
I push
well.
the
And
button, I might lose you. I don't want to. I was gonna put the picture up, but then I was like, at the way the night's going, if I push the button, I might lose you. I don't want to do that. I will post them on the website though. That'd be very cool, and a link to all your stuff. So, what would you say your favorite route you've ever ridden has been?
I haven't done tons of big scenic rides. But a couple that stand out. A couple of times I was a lot younger. Um, but we had, from an excitement standpoint, we would run out of Las Vegas, out at 15 to Barstow and down in the Riverside area, San Bernardino, and kind of party for the weekend and then run back to Vegas. And I did that a
That's
couple of times with those guys, and those were pretty memorable trips.
yeah,
Um,
that's quite a run too.
yeah, we'd follow van and stuff, but they were those were good times, wild times before it all slowed down. And then I tell you what, so we did a ride. I worked for an engineering firm in Cincinnati for years. I still have some really good friends up there, and we went off on some bikes and went off, heading east out of Cincinnati to Brown County and out through that way. And I'll tell you what,
Okay.
there are some absolutely gorgeous rides and roads out through that way in the countryside that I would have never imagined are there. But some of the more beautiful stuff, and then of course Blue Ridge and those areas are
Yeah.
breathtaking too.
Ohio has gorgeous, fabulous roads that they're just like
Oh,
jewels hidden. Yeah, it's kind
yeah,
of crazy
yeah, absolutely.
for sure. Okay, so what would be your favorite event or rally?
Um, they all kind of have their own life, so it's tough. I like the kind of the mellow ones like TMMR. I did a few years back, and that's just a really really enjoyable event. I every one kind of I like Sturgis once I actually get there.
Yeah. Yes.
You know, out that vast and you know, just the different scenery you can see within, you know, within a day is pretty amazing. So,
Yeah.
and I stayed in a
I,
cabin up outside of um, Rapid City, and so it was. I like it out there. I always enjoy that one. And I never
yeah.
do
So.
Galveston. Probably people ask me what's like the craziest, wildest one.
Uh-huh.
I tell you what, I've never seen a Main Street. I forget what they call it in Galveston, but the
Oh yeah.
Galveston rally.
Mm-hmm.
Holy shit! Like
Yes.
that the Strand they call it. That's
Yeah.
their main street or their main strip. At
Yep.
nighttime, I mean that's next level of shit.
Yeah. It's off
Like
the chain. For sure.
that tops anywhere I've been. Like those, it is absolutely yeah. I mean
We did
they
that
got
one.
snipers on all the roofs for crying out loud.
Oh yeah, we did that one in well, wow, I was in the Limp Nicky lot. That was a long time ago. Wow. That's kind of crazy. That's a flashback from hell. But yeah, they have all of that. And the best part about Galveston is like no matter what you're doing in the morning, right on the corner of the Strand, like halfway down, there's a Nestle Toll House cookie store, and you just get this little cup full of these little chocolate chip cookies fresh and a container of milk. Chris kept telling me, "Where do you go to every morning?" I'm like, "I go to the cookie store." He's like, "You're crazy." I'm like, "You gotta have them. You could smell them from everywhere." So that is a good one though too. As long as you don't go to the beach there, the seagulls will take you away. They're not nice there. They're mean little fuckers. That's for sure.
Yeah,
They-
I was fortunate enough. I got invited to the In Motion show that Cycle Source and then put on a couple years,
Uh-huh.
um, which was awesome. That's probably
Yes.
that was a great experience event wise. They put us up in a builder house, and so you got to
Yep.
be with all the guys, and it really cool experience.
Yeah, and that's another fabulous crew. Just the salt of the earth people, just good. I like when we get to stay in an Airbnb and Jack shits in the house. That's always fun. You get him and Roadside Marty, and it's just like, okay, all right. And I
That's a
noticed,
lot of energy.
yeah, I noticed that Dozer and his beautiful bride always find a place away from everybody when it comes down to staying in the house. I love that. That's so cool. So, what would you say the most fun you've ever had on a motorcycle is?
um, I don't know. I guess younger, the thrill of stuff. I was, you know, different scenes. Like riding with a group of people, and you know, just the whole,
How magnanimous it is when you're
yeah, the
doing
intensity
it.
of, you know, like
Uh,
you got a whole group of you running 90 miles an hour on and off the interstate, you know, and like
yeah, wheel to wheel.
there's no rush. Like, I mean, I've done a lot of stuff, and that's up there with, you know, some of the
Yeah.
most thrilling stuff and memorable stuff. You know, I
Mhm.
you don't realize it at the time, but looking back, and that little part of my life was good memories.
That is awesome. That is fabulous. So, give me a. Oh, you're by an airport too.
I am, yeah. Is it screwing you up?
No, no, it's funny because I'm on the phone all day. If I work from home one day, all you hear is the airport airplanes, and I'm always like, "Oh, please hold airplane." I have to mute it. It's funny. I love
Yeah.
that. No.
So my shop here, I'm almost right across the street from the Amazon air terminal,
Oh, nice. That's
and then
awesome.
there's a runway I can see through the trees over there. So yeah.
That is very cool. So, give me a little idea of your craziest roadside breakdown memory, whether it's you or somebody else on a motorcycle.
Um, I mean, thankfully, I haven't had a lot of breakdowns on a motorcycle.
I like
Um,
that.
um, you know, we did the I spoke on In Motion show in Galveston, and anytime you do, I've done a lot of shakedown rides, you know, or qualifying rides for
Mm-hmm.
shows.
Yep.
Usually the bigger payout shows and builder
Yeah.
invites and stuff, builder
Yeah.
invitationals, and so we did 78 miles through the island of Galveston one year on the bikes, and with 4 pit stops, and after the last checkpoint coming back to the finish line, um, I blew my rear cylinder,
Oh
and
shit.
and actually the push rod, the lift arm broke in the it was panhead and shot through the shot through and hit the top of the rocker box. So I was running on one, and I knew I had to get there, I mean, to qualify. So I didn't break down, but somehow we managed to fly through every red light and came up through some side road to get it was chaotic.
It was never stop, never put your feet down, keep moving.
I can't hit, there's no stopping, I got to keep it wide open. So and so that was intense. And same in LA when we did for the Golden Bolt. Nobody really realized it was timed until the halfway checkpoint before we head back. So there were 4 of us that kind of stuck together, me, Xavier, Rick, and Nick Pensabini. So we did like a fuel stop, but like everybody, I think Xavier was the only one that had an electric start. So
of course,
my knee was shot because the whole way leading up to this, I was working on the bike, getting it running, trying to kick it, swollen already. So Nick's helping me kick the bike. We're trying to bump start Rick. Everybody's throwing helmets, and like I overheated. I didn't know where I was at. I had to pull off and let it cool down because that was basically the shakedown miles on that motor. And I didn't realize where I was at, so I stopped and I looked around and somebody's trying to hand me water and people are taking pictures, and I'm right on Hollywood Boulevard where all the stars are and shit. And that's where my
that's awesome.
I'm like broke down on this bike I just built, letting it cool down before I can cross the street to the. Yeah, so those are probably some memorable closest thing to breakdowns that I had.
I love that. That's awesome. On the
I was lucky enough to somehow get through them all. But...
Yeah, that's cool. Left your mark there, hopefully. And that's cool, though. That's an interesting road to be on. If you're going to do it, what do they say? Go big or go home? That's definitely going big.
Well, you can split lanes there, too. And so being timed on the way back, like it was... I remember telling myself, honestly, I said, like, if this is how I go, it's like the coolest way ever to go. Fuck it. Like this.
I like it.
Going for 30 grand in LA and on something I built from scratch. And like, so yeah, we broke a lot of road, a lot of street violations on the way through LA.
Breaking the law. I like it.
Yeah.
So what would you consider your most cherished motorcycle memory?
The whole journey in the beginning was pretty special, so it's hard, but being able to travel to different countries and experience different cultures and have the motorcycle connection with that, and be able to talk to people and learn not only different viewpoints on motorcycles and building and how they do things, but just people. Like, it was the coolest experience. And motorcycles did that for me. If it wasn't for building the bikes and the opportunities that it opened, I never would have been able to see and do those things. So,
So you said you went to the Middle East. Did you go to Dubai?
Yeah. So it flew into Dubai, but the show was actually in Abu Dhabi.
Yes. Somebody invited me to that show once, and I was like, "You got to be shitting me! How am I supposed to do that?" Because
so here
they don't like women there. Like,
I had heard all these nightmares about going to there with a show, and apparently somebody had put on a show there previously, and it was just a disaster. Like, it was bad news, and everybody kind of knew it, but what I went with through Swiss, actually it was through Swiss Moto, and then I was essentially it was the SEMA of the Middle East. And so it was it was first class all the way. So, and it was a neat experience. Like I was in a relationship at the time. We got to experience that together, and so she was had the same concerns as you, like a woman over there. But I'll tell you what, and I think that's why it was so impactful for me. And even in Switzerland and through Europe that I got to see, breaking the stereotypes of my perception of what I was going to get over there as opposed to what it really was. The Middle East is intimidating, and especially at the time, and I didn't know what to expect. I mean, I had never been anywhere outside of Mexico and Canada, but and I'd already been to Europe, but the Middle East was a different ballgame in my mind. And I tell you what, they were some of the nicest, kindest, welcoming, hospitable people. Certainly some cultural barriers and some things that, but even as a traveler there, I think they understand that you don't follow all their cultures. And as long as you if you go to certain places and like you go to a mosque to visit some of these things, like they make the women cover up and I have to
Yeah,
cover
you
my
be
tattoos
respectful.
and
Right.
be
You just have
respectful
to
of
be
their
respectful of
culture.
their culture. Yeah.
And some of the, especially for men, some of the bathroom etiquette is a little different than we're used to and how they do things.
Okay.
But anyway, the people were, and I think that's why that stuff's so special to me, because it was, I have friends from Romania and they come and stayed here and travel. So it's just, it did so many things. But the Middle East was pretty special because I walked away or flew back from there with a completely different viewpoint on the world, really, because I got a
How
taste
cool.
of how wrong my perception can be based on, and I
That's
think I
so
like to
cool.
think that for a lot of them, they walked away, especially
With
Switzerland and places, their interaction with me maybe gave them a different perception of,
Americans, right?
yeah, we can be kind
Yeah.
and interested and respectful of their thing too.
Yes.
And, so I was always conscious of that as well, but it was, whenever you're
That
in
is
somebody else's house,
so cool.
but
Yeah.
yeah, it was really cool.
Of course, that's fabulous. I love that. I think that's it's life changing, like you said. And
Absolutely.
I
Yeah.
mean, my history is different, and it goes back a lot of years. But motorcycles saved my life, really, because I wouldn't be where I am or who I am. Would be totally. I don't even think I'd be here. That's how that is, So I get
I get
that.
it.
I love that. That's too cool. So, if you could go back and tell your 25-year-old self something, even though that's not that far ago for you, what would
I
that
always
be?
say it's not the miles, it's not the years, it's the miles.
The miles, right?
That's what gets you. That's what gets you. What would I tell my 25-year-old self?
Yeah, if you could tell yourself something, what would it
Oof.
be?
That's a. I mean, we'd sit down. It'd be a
There's
conversation.
got
But
to
I
be
would.
one
I would
gem.
say, probably. Truthfully, the same thing I have to tell myself every day. To make sure to be in the moment and live, and there's not a lot of time, and don't let unnecessary things ruin it. I'm guilty of, I get consumed in stuff, and I, like I said, the shop is everything. So it's
Right.
sometimes I get going, I don't stop, and sometimes you just have to step back and appreciate it. And I think if I maybe that was instilled in me a little bit younger,
Mm-hmm.
and I could sit down and say something, it'd be that, and like I said, as ironically as it is, it's almost the same talks I have to have with myself almost 25 years later. So
Yeah, but that's it though, and that's cool. If then
yeah,
you never know. Maybe if we ever find that the DeLorean, maybe we can just zip back there and just just throw that in
you get
there.
older and you start looking at things. I always do. I go back to this one point. I was probably 9, 10 years old. And of all the things I've done and experienced and been fortunate enough to, even have success in, like just sitting on the curb in front of our house when I was a kid with my skateboard one morning, probably in the summer or on the weekend. I go back to that very moment, as inconsequential as it was, and I kind of do the same thing. I like if like walk up to them now, and if because I can, I grew up in that house. It's 10 minutes away, and
Right?
I've driven by it, and I've put myself there. It's like, man, if you knew then, or even just to think the journey from then to now,
Yeah.
and how fast it has seemed to go. And then you take that amount of time of how you get really screwed up, and you think that amount of time, and then you fast forward that of how old you'll be and how fast that
Right.
went, and you're like, oh Jesus.
Yeah, you have
So
more of a past than you do a future. It's
yeah,
kind of
so
mind blowing. Yeah.
to really appreciate the moment and the special people in your life and the things that really matter, and not get so distracted by all the noise, I think is the
That's good.
constant, what you
I
preach.
like that. Yeah. Now, if money and time didn't matter and you could go on a road trip on your motorcycle anywhere, where would you go and with who?
So many, same thing, so many places, but I've, even though I've been to Arizona and ridden from Vegas to parts of it and back, like I've always had this vision. I don't know where in Arizona. I don't know exactly the road or the path to take. I've seen pictures, different ideas, but I would path it out and, see those red mountains, and there's nowhere like it. I think Sedona is one of the most beautiful places in the whole world. And, somewhere to ride through like that at sunset at the golden hour, wide open on a bike I built, and stop for a big steak dinner. That's heaven. So that would be it.
That is perfect. That is a good one. I like that. All right. So then, if you'd be kind enough to tell us something about yourself that other people may not know.
They don't know for a reason.
I like that. That's good.
I don't know. I'm
I've
maybe
had
that.
everything from a closet knitter. I've had the jitterbug dancers. I've had you name it to pretty much. So you wouldn't surprise me with anything pretty much.
There's nothing really too crazy I can think of. I don't know. I got into welding, actually totally because the only reason I got into welding and got a welder and taught myself was because I was going in a totally different career path,
Okay.
in a totally different direction. It totally screwed it all up and got myself into some trouble and some poor choices. And so welding seemed like the thing to do. And like I said, I went off and done a lot of things, a lot of crazy things, wild things. I never had kids or a family, so I kind of always, if I had that idea or dream or to go off to do, I did it. I didn't dream about it. I didn't
Okay.
think about it. I've thrown keys in the front of the car in the airport parking lot with a bag over my shoulder and a one-way ticket. Like
Right
more
on.
than once. So it's like,
That's cool.
it's been a
That's
while,
like
but yeah.
yeah, that's like a movie ending. It's just like I get that. That's
Well,
cool.
the problem with that is usually you do this before you do this. You kind of
Yeah. You have to hit bottom.
you
Yeah.
don't have the best plan. That usually presents problems.
Yeah, I understand that. I call it cliff diving. You just jump off the cliff. No parachute, no nothing. Just like shit. Well, let's see where we land.
Yeah, and in terms of building, people might not know, but I'm, I've had success. I've been in fabrication a long time, but I'm always learning, and I don't think anybody's probably their own biggest critic than me. Nobody's harder on themselves than myself. So, and that's a blessing and a curse.
Yes.
You probably know. So it's
I understand that. I do.
I don't think most people understand, and I think it's artistic people, and I think
Mhm.
it's people. There's
It-
there's a lot upstairs that comes with that. So it's
yeah.
you
Yeah,
know
some people think when it's like that you're looking for validation from the world, but really what you're doing is you're going inside and you're looking at what you do because you strive to be better at everything every day. Every day you wake up, you want to be a better person. You want to be better at your skill. You strive for that. A lot of people don't understand that, so I totally get that.
Yeah, and I mean I know I have talents, and I've been doing it a long time. But like I said, the perception of things sometimes isn't always, nothing's what it seems. So the process and what anybody does and what you're doing now, and all the work and the effort and what nobody saw behind the scenes.
Right.
um, if you just showed up and they saw your success, um, it's easily to have skewed perceptions. So
Yeah. Yeah.
but
That's it too.
I'm and sometimes they think you're, because of all that success you're a certain way, but the truth is, behind these doors,
Right.
I'm ripping apart and redoing stuff because it's, just not perfect to me. It's almost painful at times, but
Right.
the end product, they say, well, it's a beautiful bike, but I don't think, and any real builder and artist, I think, can relate to that.
Oh
But,
yeah, too, and it's the same thing because I tell everybody all the time. They ask me, "Why do you take your seat off of your bike at the motorcycle shows and set it next to it?" I'm like, "Because you need to see under my seat. You need to see exactly what I do. I don't hide anything under there. I want you to see it all because that's part of. I'm very diligent about making my little metal clips and running my loom and how I do everything. So it's part of it, and I don't do that for anybody else. I do that because when I walk by, I want to see under my seat. I want to know that you can see under there because that's part of it.
yeah, and I always joke. I mean, the bikes I build are in the realm of motorcycles, very simplistic bikes.
Oh, there's so much work
The,
that goes into that. Holy shit. People have no idea.
there's oftentimes a lot of work to make it look like there's not a lot of work, or
Mhm.
or there's a lot of work in simplicity sometimes.
Yep.
But I focus on the craftsmanship and the details and the attention to detail, and yeah, it's like I was saying earlier, the patience to do that and take that stuff to the next level
Right.
is painstaking sometimes. So,
Yeah.
but it's also it's I think why it's so rewarding. You know.
Yeah. It fills you up inside. That's what's really cool. Not a lot of people can appreciate that either. It does matter. So,
Yeah, yeah, and anytime in anything in life, you get into competitions and there's money involved and all these things and attention, it can get dicey.
isn't it cool though? Like it's kind of like when you go to a race, like a drag race. Same thing when you go to a motorcycle show. There's competition, there's money involved, there's all of that. But at the end of everything, it's really about the camaraderie and the respect for one another.
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, 98% of the people in this are.
Mhm.
I've made some of the best friends in my life through these motorcycles. Like I said, all around the
Mhm.
world. So um, I think that's the driving force. Like it's the doing your own thing and the work and all that is, but it's the relationships and even through
Yeah,
customers and what I do. Some of the bonds that are built. That's what really that's what keeps you going
that's
in
so
more
cool
ways
that you
than one.
appreciate that. Yeah, that's so cool that you appreciate that. That is super cool. That
It's my whole
that
livelihood, and I'm aware of that.
it's yeah. I was gonna say that speaks volumes about who you are as a person. I love that. Okay, so this show is home of the five good things. I always tell everybody if you're having a bad day, somebody knows having a bad day, find five good things, and usually it'll change your perspective. That's a lot of times how I keep my sanity in the world. But
I
do
like
you think maybe you could share five good things with us?
just general things that I
Things
that I
that you appreciate, that you're grateful for, just good things that keep you going.
um I'm appreciative of my shop and what I get to do every day and my art and building bikes and metalwork and appreciative of Rocky. Um,
Yeah,
he's a pretty instrumental part of holding us all together.
he's awesome.
uh,
He's an awesome dog.
yeah, he's great. I'm grateful for the people in my life that are I can trust and that are kind and that I look forward to spending time with. And um, the people are usually, I keep a pretty small circle,
Mhm.
not many people around, but for the people that are, I'm very appreciative of them, and certainly
Cool.
some of the ones that maybe I wasn't always in their life, but the ones that are now, I'm grateful for.
I understand that.
And grateful for being here. Have had some close calls and a big one in March. So,
Right.
every day is kind of a certainly to motivate yourself sometime, but every single day, every day is a good day when you can come out and walk out the door and let the sun shine on your face. It's nothing
I
else really matters too much after that, right?
I think that is fabulous. I wholeheartedly concur with that for sure. Definitely. And I
Yeah.
can't thank you enough for being here. I'm honored that you would make the time, take the time and out of your busy schedule to let me share your talent with the world and just be here. I look
No,
forward to being some events together and doing some stuff. That would be cool.
yeah,
Go
me
for a
too.
ride.
I appreciate what you do, and I'm always appreciative of anybody want to talk or share my story, or certainly anybody listening or watching. I'm very appreciative. So thanks a lot for having me.
Yeah,
And
and
I probably
again,
get with you too. I overheard you in the beginning. You're working for a shock place, so I got a custom application. We'll talk.
oh, definitely. We're just bringing this product over from France. It's a whole system. It's industry changing. It's super cool. And
Cool.
I'm always a skeptic, but yeah, let's definitely do that. And
Yeah.
again, I look forward to if you have, I don't know if Rocky eats milk bones, but if you have an extra piece and you could just say, hey, this is from the chickie. She said hello. I'd appreciate it.
I wish I got him treats that economical. He's
Oh,
spoiled in more than most kids in this neighborhood. So,
oh, okay. The
but
big rawhide.
I will certainly give him
Tell
a
him I
treat
said
for
hello.
you, and tell him
Very
you
cool.
said hello. And again, thanks for having me, and I look forward to
Thank you.
seeing you down the road.
Yeah, very soon. Biketoberfest, Willie's.
Yep. Still kind of like I said, not knowing what I'm gonna have bike wise there, but at
No,
least
to
for a
see you
day or two.
there.
That's my
Yeah.
birthday week
Oh,
right there. So I'll but
so
me and
you're
my
a
Rocky.
Libra, huh?
I am October 15th. Yep.
Nice. My son is the 13th, and I'm the second.
Oh,
Yep.
cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
So
Yes,
yeah.
very much
Well,
so. Well,
early
cool.
happy
We'll have
birthday.
to. Yeah, we'll
Yeah,
definitely.
I'll
You
probably be
too.
milling around a day or two over there, Rocky and I. So
All right,
I'll hunt you
cool. We'll
down.
have to. Yeah, definitely. Thank you
All right.
again so much, Brian. I
You as well.
appreciate you. All
Have a
right.
great evening. Good night.
You too, kiddo.
Bye.
All right. We're gonna do that, and okay. How about that? I mean, absolutely fabulous. Again, so lucky, absolutely so lucky. So make sure if you guys are in the Lakeland area or you're out at events that you make it a point to stop, share a smile with that gentleman. Incredible, salt of the earth, master craftsman. Um, what I'll do is I'll go ahead and I'm going to update the website. So in his gallery, I'll put some of his work. And again, the links, I will share those as well. And I appreciate you guys all for just being incredibly wonderful, following along, watching. I see you all. I am so JB, everybody. It's just so crazy. Miss Kelly, Ivy, I was so engrossed in the conversation. I love you all very much. Okay. It's been an ass whooping contest for sure this past week, but it was very good. And yeah, so I'm going to give you 5 good things. Oh, let me share my afterthought real quick. My afterthought for the show tonight is live in the present. Absolutely be here right now. Don't live in the past. Think about and goal out for the future, but make sure that you stay in the present. Because what Brian said absolutely matters. Life is short. A lot of us have more of a past than we do a future. So let's make it an absolutely fabulous time to just be here in the present. I love you all so very much. Okay, we're going to hit up 5 good things. Be kind to yourself and others. It matters. Share a smile with a stranger. Help someone who needs it, even if you need help. Find joy in one small thing every day. That's imperative. Remember to spread your sunshine, even on the rainy days. Okay, everybody, I love you so very much. Next week, we have another great guest. Have a fabulous, fabulous week. Mwah. And I love you all. Thank you. And I look forward to it. Another week. Next week, Monday, 10 p.m. All right. Peace out.